Hi everyone, I'm Matt Fuller, the Public Services Librarian here at Leach Library. And today I'll be discussing a few classics with you, as well as some books that appear on the Great American Read. Now, for those of you unfamiliar, the Great American Read was an 8-part television series which explored and celebrated the power of reading. It investigated how and why writers create their fictional worlds, how we as readers are affected by these stories, and what Americans' top 100 favorite books have to say about our diverse nation and our shared experience. First, we have the classic novel, To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee, first published in 1960. It is ranked at number 1 on the top 100 list for the Great American Read, and in a 2006 poll, British librarians named it as the number 1 novel that everyone should read. The novel tells the tale of an American South plagued by racism and prejudice. It follows a young girl named Scout and her father, a local lawyer who risks everything to defend an African-American man falsely accused of a terrible crime. To Kill a Mockingbird is both a young girl's coming-of-age story and a darker drama about the roots and consequences of racism and prejudice, exploring how elements of good and evil can exist within a community and within an individual. The novel inspired numerous adaptations, most notably the 1962 film starring Gregory Peck as Atticus Finch, the lawyer who defends the falsely accused man. And we have that right here on DVD, To Kill a Mockingbird, the 1962 version. To Kill a Mockingbird has been translated into over 40 languages and sold more than 40 million copies worldwide. So I highly recommend To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Up next, we have The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. This one is a personal favorite of mine, and it appears as number 5 on the top 100 list on the Great American Read. First published in 1954, The Lord of the Rings has become the third best-selling single-volume book of all time, and has inspired very successful films. It began as a sequel to Tolkien's 1937 book, The Hobbit, but eventually developed into a much larger work. The story is set in the kingdom of Middle-earth and follows the epic quest of a hobbit named Frodo Baggins, whose mission is to destroy the One Ring by throwing it into the fires of Mordor. By doing this, and only by doing this, can he defeat the Dark Lord Sauron and restore goodness to Middle-earth. Accompanying him on his quest are 8 companions who must fight to protect him at all costs, because their fates are intertwined with his. Tolkien was an English professor, and to me it definitely shows in his writing. He was really a master of storytelling and creating complex and believable characters. So I highly recommend The Lord of the Rings, and I should also mention that the library owns all of the Lord of the Rings films directed by Peter Jackson. We have those on DVD, as well as the Hobbit films, also directed by Peter Jackson. And we also have the 1977 animated film of The Hobbit, which I can also recommend. And last but not least, we have The Bright Book of Life, novels to read and reread, by the famous American literary critic, Harold Bloom. This was Bloom's last work before he passed away in 2019. And this book ranges across centuries and continents to give us valuable insights on such important and enduring titles as Don Quixote, Wuthering Heights, Les Miserables, Blood Meridian, Vanity Fair, Invisible Man, Moby Dick, and others. Reading this book will be a valuable way to review many of the classics, find an introduction to some of the classics that you might not be as familiar with, and also understand your favorite books in a new and perhaps a deeper way. So again, I highly recommend The Bright Book of Life by Harold Bloom. The library has many other classics and also books about classics. Right here we have the Book of Books, which has all of the books in the Great American Read. Talks about all of them in depth. We also have here the Playaway book version of Catch-22 by Joseph Heller. And as I said, many other titles. So if you have any questions on those other titles, feel free to give us a call at 603-432-1132. You can also browse the library's catalog online. Thank you so much for watching the video, and until next time.